How's it going, everybody? Corbin here from Zoco Marketing. Today, we're going to be talking about Pinterest SEO, how to grow your Pinterest account, everything that you need to know. I'm actually going to be walking through two different Pinterest accounts and giving you very practical things that you can take away from this video and implement today into your Pinterest account, into your boards, into your pins, so that you can start ranking them and ultimately getting more clicks to your website or whatever your goal inside of Pinterest might be. I've seen a lot of success with Pinterest, especially over the past year. And so I want to pass those tips on to you guys, basically help everybody else that wants to grow a Pinterest account. So the first account that I'm going to be going over today is this DIY account that I have. And over the past year, I've actually been able to grow it to 9.1 million monthly views and over 13,000 followers. The other one that I'm going to be going over a little bit is the Zoco Marketing one, the one that I just started about a month and a half ago. It's starting to finally see some traction. And so I'm going to be making regular videos updating this process on how this one goes and the things that I do to grow this account. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be talking about how to grow your account right now and tips that you can do. Before I do jump in, please don't forget to subscribe if you are new to the channel and like the video. And also, before I begin, I do want to talk a little bit about what Pinterest SEO is for those of you who may not be as familiar. Pinterest SEO is basically the same as Google SEO. If you're not familiar with Google SEO, SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. And basically what it is, if I come over here to my home feed inside of Pinterest, and I am looking for something, let's say I want to look for right here, blogging tips. So I type in blogging tips, I search for something. You'll notice that all of a sudden Pinterest shows me a bunch of pins related to blogging tips. Basically what SEO is optimizing your pins so that when a user searches, Pinterest shows your pin to that person. So if the keyword or your topic, your pin is about blogging tips, then you want to optimize that to the best ability so that when a user like myself searches for blogging tips, that your pins are showing up, because obviously the more impressions your pins get, the more clicks you get, the more money you make, or whatever your goals may be inside of Pinterest. So that's a little bit about what Pinterest SEO is. Now let's jump into the actual practicality of things that you can do right now to start improving your Pinterest SEO. With Pinterest SEO, it comes down to kind of three different levels. You have your Pinterest account, you have your Pinterest boards, and you have your Pinterest pins. A lot of times people only think that optimizing your pins is the only thing that's important, but you need to start at the very top level of your Pinterest account on how to optimize that. So we're going to start here. We're going to go back to the home. And the first thing that you're going to want to do to optimize your Pinterest profile is to come in and actually claim your website URL. If you have a website, going through and claim your website URL or your YouTube channel or whatever it may be. And in order to do that, what you're going to do is you're going to come here to this little drop down. Move myself out of the way a little bit. You're going to come here to settings and you're going to come here to claim. And right here, you can see I've already claimed my website, but you're going to have something here that says unclaimed. Or if you have already claimed it and you didn't know, that's where you could see it. But you can click claim right here. And then there are three different ways to claim your website and verify it. You can click this. This is the way that I use the most because I have a WordPress website. I just simply click this, and I'll do this real quick for those who have a WordPress website. I come in here, I come into plugins, and then I add a new plugin. And the plugin that I use is called Insert Headers and Footers. So headers, and so if you just type in header and footer, it should pop up. Right here, this one, Insert Headers and Footers by WP Beginner. So as you see, I already have it installed. Once that's installed, you come here to settings, and you're going to notice you're going to have this little Insert Headers and Footers logo. When you come in here and click inside of that, it's going to allow you to just simply copy and paste this tag that you got from Pinterest, because it says to put it in the head of your website. Trust me, this isn't a hard process. It's scary because there's code, but literally all you need to do is copy that, come in here, paste this code, which I have put it right there, and then you come and save, and then your website will be verified. So go through and do that process for all the different platforms that you're on and platforms that you want to direct traffic to. This will help give your account more authority in the eyes of Pinterest and make it more trustworthy for Pinterest. So that's the first tip. The next thing that you're going to want to do for actually optimizing your profile is to make sure that you have written a good description for what your channel is about. And inside of that description, try to sprinkle in keywords for things that you want to be known for. So for this profile, for instance, I say this profile is anybody who's looking for new DIY house projects. And then I go through and list out those house projects of common things that I've done so that when people search for those keywords, hopefully they come across my profile. And if we come over here to Zoco Marketing, you'll notice that this one needs a little bit of love, right? It's not that great yet. So as you can see, I've just gone through and added the keywords inside of here. I need to go through and write a better description and actually write this out, but I just put in some of the keywords that I want to be known for in digital marketing, Google Ads, Facebook, Google Analytics, and so on and so forth. So make sure you put a little bit of thought into the actual description of your Pinterest account because it can be very, very important. The last thing is to just make sure that you go through and follow some of the other accounts inside of your niche. So go through for this account, for instance, I would look up DIY accounts and follow people in the DIY space. For the marketing account, I'd go through and find other people in the marketing space and go through and follow those so that it looks like your account is kind of active and you're actually contributing to the Pinterest community. I think it goes a long way in the eyes of Pinterest. So make sure that you are going through following accounts, liking things, and saving pins. All right, now that we have our profile all optimized, now I want to walk through the process of how to actually optimize your boards, optimize your pins, and that process all starts with finding the right keywords. So this is the process that I use to grow this account to 9.1 monthly million views and 13,000 followers. And I'm gonna walk through exactly what I'm gonna do, what I do for that process here on this Zoco marketing account. So the first thing that I did is kind of had an idea of what I wanted my content to be about. And for this one, I wanted to do something around YouTube marketing. So what I did is I came in here first to this save area and I added a new board. And you can see here, I just hit new board and I called it YouTube marketing. And it's this board right here. As you see, it has 2 pins inside of it, but when you start a new board, you're not going to have any pins. And once I found out that I wanted to do my kind of general board around YouTube marketing, I then decided which keywords do I really want to optimize towards inside of that umbrella of YouTube marketing. So this is where the keyword research comes into play. So the first tool that you can use is you can come down here to ads, and we're actually not going to create any ads, but we're going to use the ads tool to find the best keywords. Come over here to create ad. And I'm going to cancel and start this over. So you're going to see a screen that looks something like this. Don't even worry about any of these settings. Just scroll down here to continue. And then you're going to need to hit this little button that says find new customers, hit select, and then you're going to get this option for keyword and interest. So we're going to click inside of here and then you want to switch over. It's going to have the interest there. We're going to switch over to keywords. And then now we are going to type in the board or the keyword that you kind of want to go after. And for me, I wanted YouTube marketing. So I typed this in and I noticed that, okay, YouTube marketing really isn't giving me much data to go off of, but I do see this one for YouTube intro template. So that's an interesting concept. Maybe I can make a YouTube intro template or show people how to do that and make a video about it. And right now it currently gets 500 to 1 million views, monthly searches basically. So I'm adding that to my back pocket. I'm taking note of that. Okay, YouTube intro template. Let's make a video maybe or a pin about that. And then you can go through and do this for all of your different topics. Whatever it may be, go through and type in that. I don't want to waste too much time on this one part of keyword research, but type in all of your keywords right here and go through and find those because I want this to be a very practical tutorial. After you've gone through and found those, then another place that you can go for keyword research is I would actually then come over here to analytics and then come over to trends. We're going to leave this. And now I'm going to go over to the trends here and I'm going to type in my keyword again. And you can also go through and find the top trends here. And if you do happen to find one that is in your niche and you can kind of play towards, then that's even a better bet for you. But if not, search your keyword right here. So we're going to type in YouTube marketing. And as you can see, it starts to suggest other trending topics for me right off the bat. So YouTube link, like this one's trending a lot. So what can I make around a YouTube link pin that is really picking up a lot of traffic? Real estate marketing, YouTube channel ideas, YouTube banner. So a YouTube banner would be another good thing for creating a YouTube channel. And then it's some kind of more general terms inside of there. So if we hit search here, YouTube marketing, it gives you an idea of the trends for that keyword. And then it also gives you those related topics and shows you popular pins. So if you're like, okay, I don't have an idea of what kind of pin I want to do around this topic, maybe you can use these as inspiration. Obviously, don't just copy these pins, don't copy them from people, but use these as inspirations for things that Pinterest clearly likes to show people and they're the top performing. So it gives you an idea of inspiration inside of there. Now we have identified trends for our keywords. We found some keywords. One last place that you can go to find keywords is you can come over here actually to the home tab. You're going to go to your home feed and we are going to then just simply type in the search bar, you're going to hit YouTube, okay? And what this is going to do is it's going to give you basically a suggestion on other things that people are searching for when they type in the word YouTube. So YouTube logo is a big one, YouTube banner backgrounds, banner, and we're starting to see this trend of banner and the outro videos basically. After I went through and did that and I found out kind of that pattern, I created a quick video on how to make a YouTube outro video. If we come over here, you can see what that looks like. So I went over here to back to the board. And I created this video right here. So how to make a YouTube outro video. We're not going to watch it right now. I hate watching my own videos, but you can come and check this out on Pinterest if you want. I created a quick YouTube video on how to make a YouTube outro video. I put it inside of my board for YouTube marketing. And then I also created a second video inside of there. So now when people search for boards related to YouTube marketing, they're going to see my board, or when they're searching for individual pins, I have the chance to show up for YouTube marketing related content. Now, this board is not fully optimized. When I create a board, I typically like to have at least 20 to 50 pins inside of that board for it to be really optimized. And I think the reason for this is if you're searching for inside of Pinterest and you come across the board and it only has 2 pins inside of it, you're not going to click inside of that board. It's just not going to be add value to you. So now what I would do to optimize my board is I have my description or my title in here, but I'm going to come in here to edit. And you'll notice that when you first create a board, it does not give you the option to add a description. It only lets you add a title. So after you've created the board, come back in and actually put in a description inside of here. That's the first thing to optimize your board. So I'm going to write out a description real quick. Okay, and there we have a quick and dirty kind of description inside of there. Do any, I don't want the Grammarly's fixing the wrong thing. Any tips and tricks inside of there? Basically, I just made sure I included my keyword. I tried to kind of keyword stuff a little bit as much as I could. YouTube ads, YouTube channel. And then a lot of people sometimes also will just literally go through and add these little brackets and put stuff, their keywords in there. I like to have a mix of pleasing the YouTube algorithm and actually making it readable for when users click inside of there. So we have that. We're going to want to add a board cover. I don't have one right now for this exact thing. Let me actually see. I can actually just add my ugly face here. So 4 tips for YouTube. And then we want to keep this, don't make sure it's not private. You can if you wanted to, but we're going to want to make sure it's public, and we're going to hit done. And now that we have our description inside there, we're not done. We want to go through and add more pins so that when people are searching for these kind of keywords, it's going to actually add value to them. So now I'm going to click back inside of this board, and we're going to come in here to more ideas. We want to find more ideas related to Pinterest, or to, and it's giving me a few good ones here, but I'm actually going to type in YouTube marketing here. Okay. And I'm literally going to go through and find, and we want to make sure that this is on all pins. And we're literally going to go through and start saving some of these pins to our YouTube board. And the reason for this is like I said, so that it gives it more authority in when people are searching for it, they're actually going to find a lot of pins related to the thing that they're looking for. So I would go through, make sure you get like at least 20, but I like to get 50. So, and make sure they're good kind of quality pins. So I just go through and skim and see if it's related to YouTube stuff. And that looks like a good one. And you kind of get the process, right? I go through and add all those. So now when I go back to my profile here and I look at my saved pins, you'll notice that this YouTube marketing now has 5. I would continue to do that until you're at least at the 50 or 20 to 50 mark. And as you can see, most of these boards are fairly new. They're only a couple weeks old. So I'm still working on growing this account and putting these practices into play. But these are the tips that I use to actually grow this account right here into 9.1 million monthly views. All right, now that we have gone through and optimized our Pinterest boards, now essentially all you need to do is go through and repeat that process for every new pin that you create, and create a new board for it. Make sure it's optimized, that you have 20 plus pins inside of there, and go through that process. Now I want to show you how to optimize your actual pins. And to do that, I'm going to walk through a real example on this account over here in House to Home DIY. I just did a project for a faux boxwood plant wall, and I want to rank for that term. And after doing the keyword research inside of Pinterest, that is the term that I want to go after, that there's a search volume for, and it's kind of trending right now. Now I've done that research. I want to actually create the pin. I've gone through and created the board and done the steps that we talked about, but it's time for actually doing the pinning. So I'm going to come over here to create. I'm going to create pin. And right here, I'm going to upload my image. Now, one thing right off the bat that you're going to notice is that the name of this is actually the keyword that I want to rank for. This is just another place for you to add your keyword. If you aren't naming the file, the keyword that you want to rank for, I would recommend going through and renaming that. So as you see, I have this named faux plantwood box wall tutorial. So we're going to open that inside of there. It has the image. It's just another way to signal to Pinterest what the image is about. And then I'm going to add my title, faux plantwood or boxwood plant wall. And this is a tutorial. So we're going to add that there. And then now I need to just write a simple description about what my image is about. Okay, so there's the description. It took me a second. Wanted to kind of go through and do it. So I just said, learn how to build a DIY faux boxwood plant wall, step by step, inserting my keyword there. This is an easy beginner-friendly DIY project. This faux boxwood wall took less than 3 hours to set up. and you don't need any power tools. So trying to speak to people on what it might be, trying to get them to click the link, and putting my keyword in there, but not stuffing the keyword. Now, a lot of people will go through and add hashtags here. Pinterest has actually gotten rid of the feature and the power of using hashtags. So I never do, honestly, add hashtags, and I don't really recommend. I don't think it does much for you. The next thing that you do have here, though, is explain what people can see. So this is the alt tags here. I do go through and add this. So I basically just put my keyword in there again. So a faux boxwood plant wall. There we go. And then the last thing is to add your destination. I'm actually going to direct people towards a YouTube video that I created on the step-by-step tutorial for that. And that is everything. So we can publish this immediately or publish it later. We've optimized our headline, our description. We put the alt text inside of here. And now we are sending the traffic over and we hit publish. And there it is. So now we know how to optimize our account for Pinterest SEO, optimize our boards for Pinterest SEO, and optimize our images for Pinterest SEO. A couple other tips that I do recommend is for your pins, make sure they are as high quality as possible. For this, if it wasn't for the tutorial, I might have gone through and added a little bit of text on top of it. Make sure your text is bold, plant wood, boxwood plant wall tutorial, whatever it may be, would be another thing that I would kind of A/B test and test different variations of this. Last kind of final tip that I do recommend is make sure you are taking advantage of the new Pinterest video or idea pins. These right now are blowing up a ton. As you see, one of the latest ones that I did just got 2 million views and has helped grow my account a lot. In order to make those Pinterest idea pins, all you need to do is come in here to create an idea pin. They are video formats. They need to be 4 seconds or more. But if you have the ability to create those videos, they really are doing very well because Pinterest is trying to compete with YouTube Shorts and TikToks, of course. So if you are creating TikToks, just repurpose that content into there. And that is another kind of growth strategy for your Pinterest account. And those are all the tips that I have for Pinterest SEO. Please don't forget to subscribe to the video if you found value in it today, and we'll see you in the next one.